certainty is another characteristic of love. According to Rumi, you wouldn't find certainty in science and philosophy or philosophy. That is that is unattainable. Do not search or go to philosophy in order to find certainty, to become certain about something. I mean, if in the past this was not clear enough, I think nowadays, under the modern epistemologies, virtually everybody now is satisfied and to this particular conclusion, and everybody understand it and accept that philosophy is all suppositions upon suppositions, science is all theories upon theories, refutable and falsifiable theories, and disputable arguments in philosophy. There are different schools of philosophy, there are different various theories of science and so on. So, though for the sake and for the experience of life, we base our life on science, but we are pretty certain that there cannot be, we are only certain that there are no certainties. So this is only one certainty that we have got about science and philosophy. There are suppositions only. Now, should we despair from certainty? Rumi tells us no, you can find certainty, but only in love. Because in love, you have got the unity between the knower and the known, and that's the way that you can find the real essence of things. But in science and philosophy, you use your mind in order to depict the reality, and that picture may or may not correspond with the fact. And because of the certainty, actually the courage which I mentioned previously stems from certainty. When you are not certain enough about something, you would not have the courage to take action. But when you are absolutely certain, then of course it gives you a courage that science or philosophy may not. So philosophers actually were not ready. I mean, look into the history. They're not ready to sacrifice themselves or to take big actions, okay, because they were actually in bondage of their suppositions and unconsciousness and pride and everything. It was only for the lovers who had such an ability and such a capacity. So again, of course, love, you cannot use it in order to know something about the world, in order to replace science with love or philosophy with love, but in supernatural matters, in the case of God, and in order to know Him, the best way is not to philosophize about Him. The best way to know God is to love Him. And through love, of course, you reach a certain knowledge about Him that gives you eyes which you cannot find it elsewhere in any other school of thought. About certainty, Rumi tells us a lot in Masnavi and in his odes. And for example, he thinks that the difference between prophets and philosophers is that prophets are certain people. They have got the bounty of certainty, and that was why they were so courageous about their mission, about their message, and they were so influential in their societies. That was because of certainties. They were not philosophers in the ordinary sense of the word. They were not theologians. They were lovers, and the certainty and the courage of love actually made them prophets. So these are the main characteristics of prophets as well. In one of the verses in his odes, he says, one can learn 1,000 points in the school of love that the school of reason would not teach you those points. So there are two different schools, school of love and a school of thought, and in each school you can learn a lot of lessons, and a lover, for that matter, is sometimes even, if you like, more knowledgeable, though the knowledge of a lover is very different from the knowledge of a philosopher, in the sense that the philosopher is supposedly clear about what he thinks, and cautious, of course, and in bondage of supposition, that the lover is absolutely certain about what he knows, and the lover's knowledge actually makes him courageous and in order to take action, but the philosophers not. Unity, as I mentioned before, is another characteristic of love or lovers. آفرین بر عشق کل اوستاد 100,000 ذره را داد اتحاد. This is in Masnavi. He says, praise be unto the love. It is its business to unify things which are scattered. And that's why he says, if you look at theology or philosophy, prophets and religions are different from each other. But when you look at religions through the angle or the point of view of love, all these religions and prophets are one and the same. So love actually brings in unity with itself, but mind and thinking actually brings in the diversity. No unity through reason or rational faculty, and all unity through love and loverhood. This is the message or mission of Rumi. Now we come to the last point about love, and that's the religion of love. Now Rumi was a devout Muslim, as I said, and before he became a lover, he was a mufti, he was a theologian, he was a mufassir, a commentator of Quran and other things. Now, when he came to become familiar with the idea of love and to experience love in the under Shams, he learned something which he called it the religion of love. Let me explain this. There is a verse in Quran that says the main business of the prophets, وَمَا نُرْسِلُ الْمُرْسَلِينَ إِلَّا مُبَشِّرِينَ وَمُنذِرِينَ. There are two main things that all prophets are there for: in order to warn people or to give them good tidings. Okay, this is the main business of the prophets according to Quran. They either warn you of the punishment of God, of hell, and things like that, or gives you good tidings if you are obedient to God and if you worship Him and you are an ethical person and so on and so forth. But this is the main business of prophets. But then Rumi says that the religion of love is different from the religion of prophets. He does not necessarily say and think that the religion of love contradicts the religion of prophets. But what he says originally is this: that religion of love is something that prophets did not want to preach it, because most of the people perhaps cannot carry it, cannot bear it, you see. So it was perhaps left to the mystics to teach people and to preach people the religion of love. In the religion of love, there is no mention of the fear or the punishment or even the rewards of God. There is nothing like that. A lover's reward is the love itself. He is so selfless that he doesn't bother and he doesn't think about the rewards or the punishments of God. This is the meaning of the religion of love. In the first book, in the book 1 of Masnavi, actually, he mentions that مذهب عاشق ز مذهب‌ها جداست. The religion of a lover is different from the religion of all other religions. عاشقان را مذهب و ملت خداست. The religion of lover is God and only God. So